Talk before the coffee break is Ingrid, Linck, Rosenhaim on data conversion processes for webODV. Please.
Thank you. I will try to be fast so we can go for coffee. So yeah, I'll jump this one here directly. And I guess many of you know the Mosaic expedition. Who doesn't know? It was one of the, or maybe the greatest expedition of our time in the Arctic, where polar stand was frozen in the Arctic for a whole year, and more than 100 scientists collected a huge amount of data. In this case, not so huge as compared of the data that you all deal here, but for 1 year of data in a small place like the Arctic is a huge amount. So the data was collected for atmosphere, snow, sea ice, and in the ocean, also biological data. It's already available as open source in the Pangaea long-term archive, and everyone can download, and we have a webODV for it. So the Mosaic Virtual Research Environment project offers different tools for the analysis of the Mosaic data. One of them is webODV, that many of you already know, and also know that is based on ODV, which is a well-established software. And however, webODV is more interactive because it's accessible via browser. You don't need to have exactly a computer to deal with the data. You can deal with the tablet. You can look at the data through the cell phone, even if it's not so nice to do it right now. But I guess we are working on making it better. And also in the webODV, the data is already there. So you don't have to go to Pangaea and search for this data. The data is already uploaded, or most of it, not everything, but most of it. And the data is also kept up to date with the Pangaea, with metadata and citations and everything. So webODV and FAIR data. So why webODV also can be inside of the concept of FAIR data. The data is findable because every data set inside of a collection contains the link to that original file in Pangaea. So you can find it easily. It's accessible because the data is in collections. So instead of downloading for one collection, I don't know, 89 data sets, like some of our data, you can go and download one collection that's already right there, containing the metadata and everything. It's interoperable because I can download in 3 different formats, which are already there. So text, the ODV format that many of you like, and also in netcdf. And it's reusable because I can send my analysis and my visualizations to my co-authors. They can reproduce those analyses and visualizations, make their own, and they still won't interfere with my analysis also. So the data, the Mosaic data is divided in categories in the webODV. So atmosphere, biogeochemistry, interdisciplinary collections, master tracks, model, and so on. And those categories can change over time if it's necessary. To put this data, the Mosaic data in webODV, we had to develop a workflow because we need to do an advanced search on the Pangaea archive, filter this data for data that cannot be visualized or analyzed with webODV, like maps, plots, images, videos. There was a lot of those during Mosaic. Then the data that stays there that can be analyzed, we download into our servers, and we perform conversions. So the data is downloaded in the tab format. That's a standard format for Pangaea. The metadata is also downloaded and citations. And those data are then aggregated where metadata and data are in the same table. After this data collection, some of the data are also converted, or not really converted, but aggregated into interdisciplinary collections. But some data need some special conversions. Then the final conversion into ODV format is done. The data is checked and made available for everyone in the webODV. This is the list of metadata. I think for many of you, this is really important. And for me, at least, the ones in red is the ones that guarantee the transparency of our work and the traceability of the data to the Pangaea and to the authors of the data. Why do we need special conversions? So Pangea is a data lake. And in Pangea, the authors, the data creators can submit the data in whatever format they want. So if I want to submit it as a text file, like the data here on the left side, I can. If I want to submit it in the tab format, which is the standard way, I can. I can submit netcdf and so on. However, to put the data in webODV, I need to have this data in a text format readable by ODV. And this is our special conversion. So it can be done because of the data format, or because even if the data is in the tab format, it's not really well readable by webODV. And that's the case in the left, when I have too many columns, and I could have this data in fewer columns. So the final data conversion is done by bash scripts. Actually, the whole conversion is done first in Python. But for the final conversion, those are in bash script. And after the tests, and being guaranteed that everything is correct, that the data is correct, and can be analyzed without any problems, it's then uploaded into webODV finally. This is one section plot as an example of what we can do with webODV. And this was done by Sebastian together with the data authors. So Sandra Tippenheuer was one of them. And I hope you like to play around, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ingrid. Any questions, Hans? How does this relate to the platforms that we have heard about here all the time? eModNet, Beacon. How will this come together at the end? Is that planned, or is it really specific an application for the Mosaic project?
It's a specific for the Mosaic project, even if there are other webODVs that are for eModNet and others, but this one is a specific for the Mosaic data. It's an opportunity that people can look into this data without having to programming before. Because not everyone outside of academia has the knowledge of programming to really look at the data, and maybe even teachers in the school could use this data to teach the climate of the Arctic to their students. So it's...
And that was a big part of Mosaic. I followed it online while it was ongoing. It was really great. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Otherwise, I guess Helge wants to say one word. Will you give us the timing for the coffee break?